For this process, you'll need a secondary fermentation vessel. Clear carboys, including glass and plastic varieties, are ideal for secondary fermentation because they allow you to monitor the conditioning and clarification process without having to risk exposing the beer to contaminants. You'll also need a siphon of some kind. Auto siphons are a great choice and make the process much easier. Lastly, you will also need an airlock and a stopper. When racking, the primary fermenter should be located at a higher elevation than the secondary fermenter to allow gravity to do its job when siphoning. If it is not, then you should carefully move the primary fermenter 24 hours prior to racking to allow any sediment that could have been resuspended within the beer to resettle. Clean and sanitize your carboy and place it at a lower elevation than the primary fermenter. Then, gently remove the lid from the primary fermenter. You will see a ring around the liquid line. This is krausen, consisting of byproducts of the fermentation process. It's normal and completely harmless. In fact, it's a sign that fermentation took place. Sanitize the siphon and tubing and then ensure that all excess liquid is removed. To ensure that all interior surfaces are sanitized, you can pump the siphon continuously with the tubing and the sanitizing solution to recirculate the sanitizer through the siphon. Insert the tubing all the way into the carboy so that the outlet end is touching the bottom. This is important as it will help eliminate splashing. You do not want to splash the beer when racking as it will introduce oxygen into the beer. Oxygen creates a higher potential for infection, so avoid bringing it into the mix at all costs. Insert the siphon into the beer without disturbing the krausen or trub at the bottom of the fermenter. A good rule is to work your way down from the top to the bottom, following the liquid air line the whole way down. Give the racking cane a few strokes and let gravity do its part to rack the beer from the higher elevation vessel, the primary fermenter, to the lower elevation vessel, the carboy. To make the process a bit easier, you may want to use a siphon clamp which attaches the siphon to the side of the fermenter. This frees up your hands, but you will still want to monitor the liquid air line and ensure that the siphon tip is always submerged. As you get to the bottom, be especially careful not to rack any of the trub. The trub is the bed of sediment at the bottom of the fermenter consisting of yeast cells and byproducts of the fermentation process. Carefully elevate one side of the fermenter and extract as much of the beer as possible without getting the trub. Once you've gotten what you can, take the siphon out, then remove the tubing from the secondary fermenter and seal it with the sanitized stopper and airlock. Because heat and light are enemies of beer, be sure to store the secondary fermenter in a cool, dark place to avoid them as best as possible. Note: if you're dry hopping, this is the perfect time to do so. Simply pour the hops into the secondary fermenter and insert the stopper and airlock. You can also pour the hops into a muslin bag and place the bag into the fermenter. Lastly, once you've completed the racking process, be sure to properly clean your fermenter. If you wait, the fermentation byproducts will dry onto the surfaces and will only become harder to clean. Now, we wait patiently for the beer to condition and clarify for 2 to 4 weeks.